or whatever.
Speaking of, let's go to that.
Since John Moxley and Cesaro, way before Gargano, there was Savage and Roddy, and Saturdays on NBC. These five guys on Facebook are gonna take a hard look. Come Thursday, brings to you the wrestler on the week.
Week 51. Second to last week of our first annual Wrestler of the Year. And let's just get right into it. Does anybody want to lead us off with their picks?
I can go first since I submitted mine on Sunday.
Yes,
I think
you got your homework in real early. So Matt, go ahead.
Didn't want to wait till the last minute. So in first place this week. No, you know what? I'm going to start at number 3.
Do that.
Longtime friend of the show, won the ISPW Women's title. Good for you, Gabby Ortiz, getting my third place vote with that. Second place, Darius Carter, winning the prestigious Super 8 tournament for ECWA. Good job there. And Zach Saber Jr., the New Japan Cup winner, gets first place honors in my book for this week.
All right. Very good. Anybody want to go next?
Yeah, my list is pretty similar to Matthew's, so I can get that out of the way. Oh, Zack Sabre Jr.
Go ahead, producer.
Won the New Japan Bowl Cup over there in Japan. It was a great match that we all watched. I have Kevin Owens as my number 2. I think. What was that? I don't know. You put it on there, and I had to. And you said what the reason, and I looked it up, and I'm like, yeah, it looks legit, so I put it on my list. Kevin Owens. I think the guy built an entire WrestleMania moment. Really, the only moment I think people are looking forward to for night one by himself, other than just a small promo from Stone Cold on his YouTubes. So no in-ring contact, and the guy's built the moment we're all waiting for night one. That's a great
event.
Job. He did a good job.
WrestleMania
it is the main
Saturday.
event. So kudos to Kevin Owens. I guess his contract said he had to main event one time. So let's just get out of the fucking way this way.
Get out of the way early so we can pink slip in this summer. And
just right. Darius Carter, the 2022 ECWA Super 8 champion. He crowned this past weekend at ECWA, besting Erica Lee in the final. So congratulations to Mr. Carter.
All right. Anybody want to go next? Tim? Mark?
I'll go again if you want.
I think you have to call on me. I can't just offer to go.
All right, Mark, why don't you go? Mark?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
There's no way he remembered them this week. I wish you didn't put them up because there's no way he would have remembered those 3. No.
I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday, Smokey.
I mean, especially since he had an out there pick for his number 2 wrestler of the week.
No, there's a reason behind that.
Okay.
Number 4, I had Darius Drucker from Hootie and the Blowfish. He won the ECWA tournament in Delaware. Thank you. I only want to be with you.
Are you serious?
I am serious, Mark. I'm gonna be with you. Number 3, I had that delightful young lady, which I didn't think we'd see her back in the ring anytime soon. That Toni Storm, she signed with that.
She knocked my power out just about a half hour ago.
Toni Storm was coming through. You better stand back, Big Jim. She's a powerhouse. She made her AEW debut, and the fans there, they just loved her. You know, they had forgotten who she was. And I think that fire is back in her that made her want to be a professional wrestler. So she's now number 3.
I think you're right. Number 2.
It was a rough week to pick anybody. I'll tell you what. This was probably the worst week I ever had trying to find wrestlers. I ain't lying.
So who's number 2?
So do you remember your number 2, or are you just going to keep dancing around it?
Number 2, I had Will Smith because he worked stiff. Will Smith worked stiff. He went up there and he slapped Chris Rock right in the mouth.
You don't know who your number 2 is, do you?
Remember when Eminem said that Will Smith didn't
100%
have
no.
to? All right, number 2, I had Vic Grimes from NXT. Now you're
I'm,
probably wondering.
I'm wondering why that was, Mark.
Well, you're probably wondering why. He has qualified to be in that ladder match now for the Northwest American United States Championship, and sit down and be bored. The NXT pay-per-view coming up.
Jeez.
And I still kind of like Vic Grimes. He's a good guy. I miss him having Ted DiBiase with him, but yeah, I picked him. Boy, and it was tough.
God, this seems like forever ago.
Oh,
What, when Mark started doing his picks of the week? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does.
That too.
I almost picked the Osmos. That's how bad it was this week.
There you go. He gave you your number 1. Who's your number 1?
Mark.
Number 1, I picked Zack Ryder Jr. I think it was, because he won that the Kellogg's Cup over there in Japan, which is a little northwest of China.
Oh my God.
It's a little northeast of China.
Well, depending on which way you go, Matt. It could be northwest. If you take the long route.
It's true. If you're going the whole way across
I don't think that's how geography works.
China.
China.
Tim, save us for the love of God.
Please, Tim. Make
I will
outside.
try.
Thank you.
Number 3, Austin Theory, picking up an impressive television victory over the Intercontinental Champion Ricochet, leading into his
Still a dick.
impressive WrestleMania Saturday matchup against the liquored up punter himself, Pat McAfee. Number 2, winning the ECWA AAA, or not AAA, the ECWA Super 8, Mr. Darius Carter. And number 1, defeating Tetsuya Naito in the finals of the New Japan Cup and earning an opportunity, there's that word again, at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Former runner-up to the Cruiserweight Classic, or Final Four competitor of the Cruiserweight Classic, Zack Saber Jr.
All right, my 3, number 3, I have Storm. She's an American Gladiator. Shout out to Mike Adamley and Larry Zonka. Tony Storm making her AEW debut last night, getting a win in the Owen Hart Cup. My number 2, Zack Saber Jr., for all the reasons named above, winning the New Japan Cup. And my number 1, Seth freaking Rollins. He is going to WrestleMania, and he jumped on Vince McMahon's desk and lived to tell about it. So I think that's a pretty impressive feat, if I do say so myself. For the week, we have Kevin Owens, Cameron Grimes, or Vic Grimes, as some might say.
Cameron Grimes. Vic is his middle name.
3 points. Seth freaking Rollins with 5 points. He's your number 3. Darius Carter, 11 points, is your number 2. And Zack Saber Jr. is your number 1 wrestler of the week. And for the year...
Real quick, outside of Tim, does anybody remember who won the Cruiserweight Classic?
Yes, I do.
Was it Zack Saber Jr.?
I knew you would. It was not.
It wasn't Spanky. It was.
He wasn't even in the finale, the final match.
It was the guy that owns that franchise restaurant, Perkins.
Was it TJ Perkins?
TJ Perkins.
TJ
was.
Really?
Grand Metalik in the finals.
Yeah, the final 4 was Grand Metalik, Zack
no
Saber
idea who that
Jr.,
is.
Kota Ibushi, and TJ Perkins.
TJP.
Well, that sucks.
Wild.
Yeah, I think TJP beat Kota and then went on to face Grand Metalik in the finals.
Or Grand Metalik.
Coder.
Yeah.
All right, for the year,
Zack Saber Jr.
We literally had no change in our top 10 this week, so it remains the same. Matt Cardona still up on top. Roman Reigns, number 2. Bryan Danielson, number 3. So, spoiler alert: if you do math, you can figure things out for next week. But we'll let that speak for itself when we get there officially. But the top 10 remains the same this week. And you can see the full standings over at 3countthursday.com. And let's stop here, boys. Let's go to our break, and you will hear from the Leap Sports and Music Network just on the other side of the jingle.
Since John Moxley and Cesaro, way before Gargano, there was Savage and Roddy, and Saturdays on NBC. These five guys on Facebook are gonna take a hard look. 3 Count Thursday brings to you the wrestler on the week.